My name's Rob Ryder, doing this video out of Cornwall. I'd just like to give a little bit of information, really, a continuation from the series that I was doing with Patrick. I did a little video to say why it's not popular, because people don't want to really take self-responsibility and look at themselves. But another one bit of information I'm going to give now regarding the importance of, I believe the importance of it, comes from the book that me and Patrick wrote, Medical Despotism, the Health, Economic and Political Program That Can Kill You, which we wrote because of what happened 4 or 5 years ago around the world. What I believe is what actually happened, the history behind it, the real science, the political, economic influence in it, and what it was all about. 6 weeks before the lockdown, I was on my friend's channel saying the only thing going around the world is fear and hysteria, and I stand by that now. But I think what people need to understand is we glorify the NHS in this country, mainly because it's free. Well, free at point of service, it's not free, nothing's free. But the medical profession claim they're responsible for the higher lifespan in the West and health. For one, the lifespan really could come down to better living conditions, especially clean water and sanitation, which is why we know infectious disease dropped massively or totally at the turn of the 1900s because of clean water, sanitation mainly, and other living factors. And they claim medical science has done wonders for our health, when in fact most people now seems are on some form of drug or another and have some form of chronic illness. So I don't want to go into that. We've gone through that into the seminar, understanding acute healing, chronic illness, how it comes about. And I'm basically claiming the medical profession are creating chronic illness. It's a good business model. But they claim to be experts. They've given themselves enormous power over our lives. But when somebody claims to be an expert, you should look at, okay, what does the data say? What are the results of your so-called expertise? So this is a subchapter about the history of modern medicine, but this is the legacy of modern medicine. It's only a couple of pages because it's actually quite straightforward. Barbara Starfield, in 26th of July 2000, published in the American Medical Association. A study was 12,000 deaths per year from unnecessary surgery, 7,000 deaths from medication errors in hospitals, 20,000 deaths from errors in hospitals, 80,000 deaths from infections in hospitals, 106,000 deaths from non-error adverse effects of medications. So these total 225,000 deaths per year in America. That was 25 years ago, with the medical profession just doing their job. Now that puts them the third biggest killer behind cancer and heart disease. And that's a conservative study. There's lots of things not taken into account there. What it doesn't also take into account is the long-term effects of suppressive allopathic medicine. How many cancers are caused by suppression. How much heart disease is caused by suppression. And again, you'd have to go back to the series with Patrick to understand that. I would say, in my opinion, in America, off that study, the medical profession, experts, are the biggest killers. And yet they're claiming to be experts and imposing themselves on your life, especially if you've got children where they can impose. Yeah? But this isn't just an American phenomenon. So the universities of Manchester, Sheffield, and York in England published in February 2018, 712 deaths in England every year result from avoidable adverse drug reactions. Then we got an article in The Independent, February 23rd, 2018, stated that from the report, We estimate that 61.4 million errors and 4.8 million errors occur in England per annum that have a potential to cause moderate or severe harm, respectively. So 61.4 million errors could cause moderate harm, 4.8 million errors could cause severe harm. The report also stated prescribing errors and mix-ups which contribute to as many 22,300 deaths a year. Yeah, that's in England, just England. In his speech at the World Patient Safety, Science and Technology Summit in London on 23rd of February 2018, Secretary of State for Health and Social Care Jeremy Hunt said that while the NHS England, I'll quote here, does well in international comparisons, the new study shows medication error in the NHS and globally is a far bigger problem than generally recognised, causing appalling levels of harm and death that are totally preventable. I'll repeat that, causing appalling levels of harm and death that are totally preventable. And again, none of this takes into account the long-term effects of toxic suppressive medicines and drugs and other medical interventions. So they're claiming to be experts and they've got an appalling record. They're killing an unknown thousands of people. We know from the MHRA in this country, I think it's the VAERS system in America, they only pick up 1 to 10% maximum of adverse vaccine reactions. We don't know the scale of death and destruction that the medical experts are causing on humanity. We don't know because it's immense and they obviously won't study it, but they will still insist they're experts. They'll still drag your children off you and force medications. As an adult, they can't force you, but they'll make your life very difficult and they claim to be experts. This is utter insanity. Utter insanity. Other experts, as I've gone into in my other book, Debt Slavery, are economists. You know, how much poverty, life destruction are these so-called experts causing to humanity because of their alleged expertise in money matters, economic matters, financial matters. The experts in tyranny, you don't have to have an opinion. You look at the results. There's no debate. When you're globally causing appalling levels of harm and death that are totally preventable, how can you possibly claim to be an expert and want to impose yourself on other people, your expertise? The same goes for every department in public service. I might do another video soon regarding the mindset of these people, how it's got in there, what Brian Gerrish at the UK column would call the common purpose effect. Because these people, to believe in what they believe despite the evidence, their minds have been gotten into, shall we say. That's why the series is so important, because what are you going to do now? If you're not well, you're ill, are you going to go to these people who are possibly the biggest killers in the West, that are causing, again, appalling levels of harm and death? Why would you even consider going to them for help? This is what people really need to understand. The medical profession openly publicizing their own data, showing the death and harm that they themselves are causing, yet they continue to push that they're experts. People, this is why the importance of these series of conversations with Patrick. When you can't trust them, you need to say, well, who can I trust? Ultimately, all you can trust is what created you, because it created you to live a certain amount of time as a healthy individual. What's causing us to be ill is not only the medical profession, the financial sector, the illusion of the political system, and all the illusionary laws. And we need to pull away bit by bit and become more self-reliant. Otherwise, we're just going back to these experts who are absolutely destroying us.